map.
Yeah,
the whole map.
Who's going to go Sanhok, or who's going to go ahead and just maybe play it safe and go somewhere else, like maybe Alpha or Bravo?
Right. Yeah.
It all comes down to that, and I'm pretty sure tomorrow we'll start seeing teams maybe switch it up. They're seeing maybe a stronger team, and they keep getting in gunfights, and they're going to be like, well, maybe tomorrow we don't do that. Maybe tomorrow we back up a little bit. How about we switch it up? How about let's go with Plan B?
Well, let's truly focus on this first game, of course, because Sanhok being the map, you can see our teams getting ready almost to get into the game as we get things going. Sanhok being the first map, Seven, you've already alluded to the fact that it could be very, very bloody, so I'm going to move on from that. What are your thoughts related to Sanhok? How are these teams going to be able to rotate? Obviously, there's a huge river in the middle. Boot camps have point, but
expect a lot of teams to go very edge to begin with, and then when we see the second and third circle pop, we're going to see a lot of rotations coming, and we can see a lot of centering up, and they're actually going to be playing extremely safe from there. They're going to be wanting teams to come to them, because when you start a fight on Sanhok, you're going to be third party. There's going to be teams, okay, these guys are fighting, they're going to be weakened. We're going to full man third party that and take down two full teams, because you ensure yourself potentially up to 8 points if you wipe them fully, both of them. Yep. That's expected to be around 4 or 5, whatever. But you also eliminate 2 teams, which will put you further up on the placement boards, which will give you more placement points, which is obviously what you want to go for in the end.
Yeah, third partying on Sanhok is absolutely much more prevalent than it is on all 3 of the other maps, and you just see it happen so much more. So that's what I'm expecting as you talked about there.
And to that point, placement point increases start from the very word go. Yeah. So that in itself is every single placement really does matter. It's not the case of like only top 8 is getting placement points or anything like that, 7. Every single placement is going to matter throughout every single game.
Yeah, and I know we keep talking about third party, but I'm pretty sure some teams are just
Becoming a pro player was the fact that there was a competitive leaderboard, and I'm a competitor, so I wanted to be #1. And once I was approached by a team, a competitive team, and that opened my eyes to to seeing that this game could be a competitive game, and this is something that I would love to go professional in. My path in PUBG Mobile started out in Season 1. I started playing, was grinding the leaderboards, became #1, and I realized that with this #1 spot, people wanted to see, how I played and everything. So I started streaming, started becoming popular. The PMCO, the Star Challenge, came out, and I was chosen as one of the teams. So started there, and then after the PMCO, things really just took off. More tournaments started happening, and since my name was already big, I was able to always, have a team and play competitively. And then Space Station Gaming ended up reaching out to us, and they wanted to pick us as a team, and so that's how I became a true professional gamer in PUBG Mobile. So all of my friends and my family support me as a professional player. My friends think it's really cool. They're all super excited, and they can't believe that, I'm actually doing something that all of us as younger kids always dreamed of doing, just playing video games for money, making money professionally.
जसले पनि हेरेको छ ल कमेन्ट बक्समा कमेन्ट गरौँ न त कुन टिमले सपोर्ट गरिरहेको छ कसले.
Didn't even know what this was, but then I started showing them. I showed my mom the plane ticket for Los Angeles in the PMSC, and ever since then, she's been on board. She understands that this is a career. She can really make a career out of this. So they're super supportive and love it.
A gentleman that, of course, goes by the name of Angry, but in real life, anything but. He leaves anger to the game itself, where he looks to frag out. I've known this guy for a while, of course, we mentioned previously on Gangstars during PMSC, and it was a treat to watch them, along with Beowulf and all the other guys whilst that was going on.
It definitely was, and actually, I got to spend some time with Space Station Gaming at their gaming house in Salt Lake City, Utah, and they are so focused, man. They're PUBG Mobile 24/7. If they're not playing it, they're watching gameplay, they're breaking stuff down. and Juicy being the IGL, he's the brains behind everything, and it's just going to be I'm looking forward to see how the diversity is going to happen.
Speaking of breaking stuff down, thank you very much, gentlemen. We'll talk to you after the game. I'm about to head over now to another member of our team, and whoa, there's a cable there. I don't want to trip over that. It is Scoom. How are you doing, my friend? What are you going to be doing here as well?
I'm great. I'm super excited to be here. This is going to be amazing. I'm going to be using this amazing screen, this huge screen here to pretty much break down the game. I'm a huge fan of macro play, so I'll be definitely be looking at rotation, smart plays, stuff like that. Obviously, the key moments in the game, like getting highlights, why team won, team fights, and stuff like that.
Yeah. Especially excited, I guess, because we don't get to cover much Sanhok Vikendi, so yeah,
this is my first kind of like covering Sanhok Vikendi. So it's going to be fun to see how teams approach these third-party maps.
Yeah, definitely so. Well, thank you very much, Scoom, and thank you very much to everyone else tuning in around the world here. As of course, while this is going on, we will be breaking things down. We'll be studiously looking over the games and figuring out how everybody's moving around, jostling for position to get themselves in the right spot here for the game. It is time now, ladies and gentlemen, to begin game number 1 of PMCO Global Finals 2019.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's head over to the commentator teams for game number 1.
Over the last 4 months, over 35,000 teams have dropped, and now only 16 remain. This is the PUBG Mobile Club Open Global Finals live from Berlin.
And these teams are now fighting for their share of the big prize pool of $400,000. And not only that, but the biggest prize of it all, you get to call yourself the best team in PUBG Mobile in the world.
Absolutely. This is for undisputed global championship. These teams want bragging rights. They want to prove that their regions like India, teams like Seoul are the best of the best of the best. And they're going to do it here. We open up on sunny Sanhok, a map that is known for fast fights, contested drops, and slow but lethal endings. Frauds, what are you looking for as we get our first play in the air?
Here we go. We're starting in from the southeast, going towards the west. And look at it, with the southern play, it's going to be hard for some of the teams if they want to go towards the north and play the game from there.
Absolutely. Remember, Sanhok comes down to 3 islands. It has the most road coverage of any map at over 7%, based on its size. However, no one really likes to use vehicles here. It is a very dangerous prospect, isn't it?
The map is big enough, you don't really need to use the vehicles. You can just run on foot, and it's going to be more stealthy as well.
Remember, we've got to get off the 2 small islands are obviously the most dangerous, lots of choke points and difficult crossing. That's why you don't see a ton of contested drops in that area. Areas, though, like Paradise Resort and, of course, Boot Camp, are always going to be a little bit trickier. We do see GCB, Busan all alone here.
Well, you have Team Seoul, they are just north of them in their warehouses. So, I mean, we might see an early clash coming in soon here.
It's a smart play by Seoul. Those warehouses are tier 3 loot spots. They've got good enough stuff that you can get equipped and put up a good fight. The problem is, if they choose to take the fight to Busan, they have to cross that open road area. So it's either move fast and fight, or loot and run.
Well, what you want to do if you're Seoul, you want to send one guy straight across right now, make sure he can scout to make sure that there's no one coming for him.
In the meantime, let's check in at Painan. We've got a similar situation, a great spot to share in terms of a hot drop. The river separates the 2 sides. It looks like Queso going to have a bit of a stronger position on the larger loot side, but they have to be worried. One of the best teams in the world, Frauds, is staring across the river, hoping to start off with 4 easy points.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want it to be too aggressive. Remember, most of the points accumulated from placement itself. You don't want to be too aggressive. You don't want to lose place. You want to keep them towards the end of the game.
Brazilian Killers decide to go to Ruins. It looks like it's uncontested. This is amazing news for them. The reason they got it, though, is because it's out in the middle of nowhere. They've got to cross 2 potential rivers. It's a long transition. However, they're going to be coming in kitted to the 9s when it comes to those final fights.
Look, we can see that they're here all by themselves, but you want to be careful because they don't know. Someone might be lurking just outside by the small compounds and just watching them and saying, hey, Now's the time to go, boys.
Speaking of lurks, let's check out with Senior up on top of the roofs. He's watching for Queso. He needs to see, are they pushing or are they going to lead? If they try to lead, he's got the SLR. He's watching the hill. He could potentially get that knock. Now we jump over to Paradise Resort, where XQuest is getting their loot on, and honestly, also uncontested. Jimmy out there looks like he smells a rat. Maybe thinks SSG is headed in his direction and wants to trap him.
I think he already spotted him. I mean, he's just lurking here and taking it easy while his teammates are still looting. He's just making sure that they don't push them right now.
He definitely drops, watch each other go down, and it looks like XQuest has decided they want to be aggressive. Remember, these guys fragged out during the early rounds. They're looking to keep those numbers high. They're one of those teams that's not as interested in placement as they are in straight-up kills.
Exactly, they're an aggressive team, and I like to see that. And we saw that they're straight on pushing towards SSG right now. They want to get those kills early on here.
You know what? They're not the only people looking at Space Station Gaming. Seoul, a team that has been fighting since the beginning, even fighting to get here to Berlin, looks like they want to potentially take the fight early as they move up the hill. We see them start to climb up, take a little bit of an overlook position here. Is it better? Do you want to fight early here, Frost?
I mean, if you can get the upper hand, you can spot the team, you know they can take out two of them straight away, do it. That means 2 points, and also you can get their loot.
We're not going to go ahead and seize. He's looking for those peaks, a little bit left and right, a little bit of wiggle. Viper now being covered as he makes his advance. It's a systematic push coming out of Seoul as they take turns leapfrogging point to point.
I mean, look at the utilities that Seoul have right now. Ronak and Viper, they only got one first aid between them both.
But worth noting, Viper is the one who's out in front. He's also the one with the tier 3 vest. That's what you want to do. The man who's best equipped, the man who's got the AR with the red dot, that's the guy you put out in front on these pushes.
This is why you might want to take the fight if you can risk it, because you're going to need that utilities later on in the game, and the quicker you can gather it up, the better.
Honestly, I think the big issue here it is. There's the open. Viper gets the knock, and it's going to be Carnage who's having Carnage spread around. It's going to be open game. Juicy up into the tier tower, trying to catch a little bit of Overwatch, but it's too little, too late. SSG now working at a deficit.
Look at Angry though. Angry's on the outside of the road, with Sixes and Juicy's on the outside. Now, he got to be careful. He don't want to get caught by Seoul as well. He might just play it safe here and try to see if he can catch someone off guard, or try to make the others of his from his team try to get their attention. And because if Sixless and Juicy can get the attention of Seoul, Angry could go for the flank itself and try to take them down from behind. And look at it, it's a little bit stalled. No one really wants to push it right now. And they're just taking it easy here. No really rush for it right now. And they want to take the time, get all the information they can.
All right, Viper, nice little layup, going to be covered. This is what I think Seoul is doing really, really well, is covering each other's back. Let's jump over to Top Esports, another team that's running a short, what we call like a short-range flex, right? They've got 2 and 2. They're covering a hilltop and a push point. Sanhok, one of those places where you can always be backstabbed. It is the king of the third party in return, and considering this map.
Yeah, look at that. They also got a bucket. They're refueling right now, getting ready. They want to use it.
Honestly, I like it. One of the issues for me on this map is that there's not a ton of cover in some of these larger valley areas. And while getting blown up in a car is always, a truly scary thing, when you need the cover, when the last fight is in the open and there's only a couple of rocks to use, having the vehicle to sort of tack onto there, to use for cover, to make a forced emergency rotation is always a good thing.
I mean, you can always use it as a decoy. Make them shoot you, and then the rest of your team, they get the information, they know exactly where the enemies are.
Absolutely, you gotta remember, it's like you can always ghost ride the whip a little bit and get people to draw a few shots away. Everybody loves shooting at cars. I think it's one of my favorite pastimes for sure. Let's jump over to, it looks like Scars Black, Shimon making a good job of the loot. I mean, they haven't been contested yet, they haven't had a ton of issues, but they do have Queso nearby.
Yeah, they have Queso just next to them, so they gotta be careful. You don't want to run into them in the open.
I mean, you don't want to run into anybody in the open, but right now what we're seeing is sort of everyone waiting for the first shot. That idea that you don't want to be the one that engages because it gives away too much information. This is the information gathering phase of the rotations. Teams are going to be looking for a middle spot with at least a 30% chance of pulling the next circle towards them. So that's why we see everybody sort of off the fringes. If you're, you don't want to play the edge, especially here, you want to make sure you're as close to the center as humanly possible.
I also like the split here coming in from GC Busan because you have two guys in the complex holding it down while you have two guys outside. So if someone tries to crash you, you still have people on the outside that can do something about it.
I mean, you got to remember the format is placement heavy, so having that sort of extra backup, the extra life of worst case scenario, you lose two while
so look at this though.
All right, old boy looks like he's hunting for Nova Unique, and Nova starting to war it out. This is the beginning. Bandit gets knocked a little bit early. That's opened up the chance for Unique to be aggressive. He preps up the grenade, gets a nice toss. Is the cook going to be good? No, it's enough to send a little bit of a message here as Nova tries to form up and protect the res.
Unique got the upper hand there. They got the high ground. They got the combo to play from. They can take it easy. They also got the knockout. So, I mean, take your time.
Right.
Look at that.
What a shot. Old boy takes Jin down with a beautiful 4X. And now he immediately relocates, never shoot twice from the same spot. Sees him go again, puts on the 4X spray, almost gets it. Meanwhile, Jin just counting the moments for the flush.
And right now, Unique is playing safe. They get him, picking him off one by one, just by the book.
But that's it. You want to keep moving. You want to be systematic. You don't want to overforce the flush, put yourself in a bad spot. Old boy taking some fire as he advances, has a little bit of cover to get that first aid kit off, but only because Nagi is off to the right side, making sure that he can't get flanked. That is the key here. Always have your fourth man out, watching your back. The fire back and forth, the res has gone up. Looks like AY taking some serious damage as he's trying to play the same role on the opposite side as Nagi, finding that flank position. Yasha going around, but he's got to worry because it looks like Bigatron might not be too far away. They're hearing this. They might want to get involved.
This is the thing. The fight has been going on for a while, and he's scared that they'll get third party from behind. So he's actually going back to watch the back right now. Since the other guys on the team, they have the upper hand already.
AY got another knock, but very smart. Watching your back is a very big deal. AY hasn't had a chance to get himself back up to full, so it's becoming a bit of an impasse from two teams that want nothing less than to be in this situation. They've got a decent spot on the map, but everyone else now knows exactly where they are.
And no one really wants to move up. Look at that. AY goes down.
Yeah, with a nice little spray there from the distance. These guys are absolutely phenomenal. What they specialize in is getting those mid-range sprays. Bandit, look, his toe is exposed. Takes the damage, has to duck back a little bit, but now it's just about aggression from Unique. Old boy Nagi going with a nice little push here, spraying the grass, making sure no one's hiding. Old boy to the left, Nagi to the right. It's a 1-2 punches. Thank you very much. And they go ahead and finish off.
One by one, only Chaoji is left right now from Nova. It looks like he might be trying to retreat because right now he can't do much about this situation for the team.
When you're down to one, you play for placement. Either you can't really go rogue, you know Unique's got the chance to loot, and this is great news for them. The third party never caved. That means they have time to loot 3 boxes. They're not going to get pushed by the solo, and they can form back up and take a breath. That's an important part of PUBG. Sometimes you need to take that breath after a fight and replan what your next move is.
I mean, let's be honest, they're pretty central in the circle as well, so they didn't need to engage this fight at all. Nova, they could have tried to push back a little bit more, but they got stuck in a bad situation, in a bad spot there, because they had that good compound.
Meanwhile, let's jump over to RRQ, who is now in a fight with Queso. These guys have been watching each other for a little while, and Queso, remember they dropped in the same spot. They told me, Toffees, we believe they were one of the best in the world. We're tired of being disrespected as a team. We're going to drop with RRQ. We're going to fight Athena, and we're going to make them pay. And now's their chance to put their money where their mouths are.
And looking at it, it's a fair fight right now. No one's really doing any damage to each other.
Tell that to Axel, who took a little bit of a pop, and I think is maybe a little bit worried about the high ground advantage that RRQ Athena has over them right now. They're going to use that low and slow push style, make sure they're covering any kind of counter push coming from Team Queso.
I mean, both of the teams are on the south edge of the new circle, as we can see, so they don't really need to engage this fight either. But right now, they got to be careful because they start shooting the people nearby. We have a few teams nearby, and they heard the shots, they saw the information.
Not far away, a team that is nearby is the Brazilian Killers, BRK, as they look to smack down on RRQ, pushing up the hill, possibly choosing to get involved. Thing is, RRQ, all of these teams, they're playing very close to the edge. They're not in the best, position for sort of the next circle. So when you get caught in these long engagements here on the edge, like we're seeing a couple of these teams on the mini-map right now, it doesn't set you up for the endgame frost. It hurts you because it's just a non-win for whichever team comes out on top on the edge.
I mean, let's be honest, the southern part of the new circle is kind of close towards the center of the last circle, and you want to avoid that because that's where everybody's grouping up. We could see on the north side, you had Purple Moon. They're all by themselves, almost. You only got Xiao Chi from Nova Esports that is still up there.
So we got a mass amount of players, 60 players alive, all 16 teams still in. Nova down to 1 player, and SSG has lost 1 player. Everyone else working as 4s right now, and that is a big part of working for placement towards the end of the map. But that also means chaos cannot be far away for us. BRK moving forward. RQ spots, moving goes down. Here's the molly. He's getting loaded up. Nice throw, good for zoning. The question is it going to push them off of the rock? It's right next to him. Mitek, not a lot of options in terms of going for this res. Defensive smoke comes up, but RRQ with the advance. It's strategic, it's smart, it's inside. Now he just has to go around that right side to get the flush. That's the knock. 69 putting in the work. That's a 1, that's a 2. Can you make it a 4?
They keep, RQs keep on pushing, but as you can see, Brazilian Killers, they are falling back right now. They know that they are just getting killed there.
They're getting systematically dismantled. Killed is not a word enough for the situation they caught themselves in. RQ Athena has just read them their rights, and they have to run. Their last survivor, I think, just needs to extricate himself from the situation.
Yeah, I mean, we're still only in phase 2. We got a new circle coming up in just a few seconds here. And then we go, oh my god, it's going up to the north.
But that's a bit of a yeet to the north there. I'm not sure how these teams are going to survive. We had a lot of teams stacked up in the south. Remember, we talked about a lot of teams packing up on the big island, but it was all on the south side. So we're going to see a massive exodus of movement as these teams try to get themselves up into even the Mong Nai region or higher, looking to get themselves some safety. Nova's the lone survivor from Nova. I just want to tell everybody, safely to the north. He scored the circle and lucky to do so.
Sanhok bleeding out. That's him down for this game, but if you're the teams on the south side right now, you want to make a wide rotation. You want to go far east to far west and then push towards the north.
Let's take a look at Scars as they get into a fight with Queso. Queso can't seem to find a place to come in or call home, as every time they rotate away from someone, they run smack into another. Scars Black, Reno here putting in some work, taking shots in return, but Queso is in the blue. They can't stay in there. They know they have to come out, and maybe Scars sees a chance to put a few extra kill points on the board.
We're only in phase 3, so the blue, it doesn't hurt too much right now. It's not too bad for Queso. They can still make something work, make a big flank around the blue.
And that's exactly what they're going to have to do. The problem is it means abandoning their teammates. It's been the name of Sanhok so far. Is sometimes the better part of Valor is the willingness to quit. They know they're in trouble and they have to run away. We saw that with the Brazilian Killers, and now we're seeing it with Queso.
Yeah, and looking at it, the teams are setting themselves up. As we know, with the new circle, that we still have Paradise Resort inside it. Now, I don't think too many wants to be closer because you never know if people are lurking there already. You want to avoid that kind of part of the circle.
GC Busan looks like they took a couple of shots uphill from top esports as they have the uphill advantageous position. The Rezzes were able to get off though. Look for Busan to try and withdraw from this position, just like we saw Queso do in the last one. It's just a very strong place. You can see Years using that lean. If you want to up your game back at home, that's one of the biggest things you can do. Learn to use that lean the way the guys like Years and Fireboy do.
Look at it. Top esports, they're gonna try to fall back. They don't want to take this fight. They know that it's still too early. It's only phase 3. They want to wait. Phase 5, that's when we're expecting a lot of action coming in.
And I want to point out, a lot of teams haven't said no to fighting. They've said no to fights that last longer than 42 seconds or so. You have the chance, you take the advantage, but once you don't get the kills, it's time to go. It's time to make the right choice. PLM and Unique going head-to-head. Unique gets the beautiful oh boy, hits the headshot. Excellent execution. Now when coming up, he wants to make the play there, gets the return.
And that's Team Unique.
Done.
16 plays in the first game. I mean,
it's a tough start, but you know what? They put up a good fight. It was a great spray to open against PLM, but PLM had a full squad. 2 got knocked by Unique there. That's why you want to keep 4 alive. That's why we see teams backing off of these early fights, because of the need for maintenance. To have 4 in those moments is so incredibly important.
And it's just game 1, we still have 15 to go, so hey, heads up, it's still going to be so much more to show to people.
I'm a little bit terrified of what's about to happen as this next circle closes. The blue is about to touch the white. It's going to shrink down. We're still sitting here with 15 teams, many of which still have 4 players alive, though it has changed dramatically over the last few minutes. Take a look at that shift. Hard push over to the left side. PLM, who just won that fight against Unique, in the king spot. The problem is there's not a lot of cover there, so a lot of teams are going to be pushing in on top of them, I think.
Yeah, and you also have Old Rejection Gaming on the west side of there. They could go a little bit north and try to take that compound. Meanwhile, XQF, they're on the edge of the new circle there. They might want to keep other teams out from it, but we see Nova, we see some other teams, they're trying to rotate towards the north.
Absolutely. PLM, I think, take the compound if you can. I think they're worried somebody might already be there, so making the right choice, staying safe. The problem is, look, the south side of the map is getting crazy. Paradise Resort, we see Juicy and the rest of the crew moving in. They struggled during the scrims and the practice rounds today. They'd like to do well here. The problem is, we've got Top Esports coming in just to the east of them. They're about to come out of the door. This could very well come down to who spots whom first, as they both try to make a push out of this very difficult area for us.
Yeah, and look at Top Esports here. They kind of have the upper hand because they are on the low ground. They can just look above them, and they can spot SSG maybe, but looks like SSG is going to keep on running through Paradise Resort right now.
I love how comfortable they're looking inside of their little pit right now, legs crossed, lounging on the couch as if it's not $180,000 on the line. Let's go to Cat, who's using that 4X. He knows the smoke is there. He says, hey, somebody's coming from this side. Let's do what we can to lock them out and slow them down.
XQF here trying to hold out Big E-tron, and I mean, they got one of them down so far. Looking for the second one, they got it.
Jimmy gets the second knock. That means the reses are just no longer safe in this area, and he was lights out with that. There was nothing they could do to maintain the res. Bigatron in some serious trouble as XQuest just stares down the barrel and locks him up behind the rocks.
Luxy, last man standing right now, but Ryzen, he's only knocked, and Luxy, he could still get him up, and they could get away from there.
But it's at what cost? They walked into the trap. They already guaranteed loss 2. How do you push in from that point? They're going to have to hunker down and wait this one out. But not to be outdone, Cat scanning everywhere else. It looks like XQuest has done a good job of not just tunnel visioning on the fight. They always have someone looking at the flank, somebody watching a potential push. These guys know how to avoid third parties. So far, it's been spectacular to watch.
I mean, having a comp for yourself is also really nice because you know you're always safe, you have your back covered.
Cat is going ape right now. Ryzen trying to run. His only blessing, Cat ran out of bullets. It buys him some space. Ryzen with the duck, bob, and weave makes it to the rock. But he has to be thankful that there just were not enough bullets in that gun.
Yeah, and we're going to see a new circle soon. The question is, what is XQF going to do here? Because they let Big E-tron move away, and they might be setting up an ambush because they know exactly where XQF is. Never mind, because XQF got the compound inside the next circle here.
They are comfortable and they are happy, and PLM's going to sweat a little bit because, like we said, more people are going to be moving on to that spot in the open that they are in. Cat can just keep playing defense. The rest of the team's making long rotations. Top Esports and SSG, we talked about them a little bit earlier, trying to find their way into the circle, but look how comfortable. Look at this XQF compound. It is defended, it is good, and there is just no way to get in there right now.
But still, it's a very big compound. Even if you have 4 people up, it's going to be hard to hold it.
Juicy, baby. He gets that nice little knock out of nowhere. It wasn't Top Esports they ended up engaging. He causes some trouble, but does the smart thing and moves away. Soul and BRK, the last survivor, going to have to go head-to-head as this blue starts to advance.
Yeah, and now this is the kill, so we're in phase 5. You saw that SSG, they got one knock on Soul. They wanted to move on because they know they need to move east towards the circle right now.
And that will be it. It looks like the trap that they set was just too strong. SSG holding down the edge of that Paradise Resort.
Angry. He spotted Top Esports.
and then they literally just chill as all. They knock out one of the favorites. They hurt them really badly, and now they're going to float away to a good defensible position. Smart play from Space Station Gaming.
Very smart move. They don't want to take the fight, even though they spotted top esports. Top esports didn't spot them. They want to cross the road. They want to make sure that they can get safely into the circle.
But Soul's not out of it. Viper survived the trap, so he is the remaining hope for the crowd favorite here. And I believe if anybody can snake their way deeper into this match, it's going to be Viper. Checking with top esports years, trying to stay ahead of the blue, but it looks like Vegatron right there inside of the house. They're playing right next to each other.
Oh my god,
PLM!
PLM once again getting the circle.
Purple Moon Gaming, more like sweet circles. These guys are incredible. They found a good spot. They earned it. No, take that away from them. Had to fight unique for that spot, but they have managed to get the circle on top of the hill. This was a tough spot, but now it is strategically incredible. The top of the hill, they can see everyone coming. They just have to worry about third parties.
They also played it well from the start. They took the north side of the map. They wanted to have control. They got the control, and they got to choose exactly where they wanted to play from. But look at this, Zooms is knocked.
He is knocked. We see ELG coming in from down below. It looks like Ming making a move. They throw smoke out. Nawin wants to try to go for the res, but he is very, very low at this point. Nawin knows that he has one threat, but not sure how to handle it. I think we're going to see the end of Zooms here. Not much they can do to take that risk. Meanwhile, Sixless popping off and rising. What can he do? Is this the end for Bigatron? They lose one more to the blue here, and that'll be the second. So it looks like XQF putting in some serious work over there on BTR.
Looking at the map right now, it's only PLM that is inside the circle, and everybody else is trying to push in. PLM, they are splitting up 2-1 split, 200 north. SCC is alone on the south, trying to hold that.
They had the spot, they had the scout, but the flick headshot was it. The PLM has lost their scout position. Jasper knocked down behind the rocks. It's falling apart. That's the danger of being in the middle, is everyone else wants what you have, and if you can't defend it, they're gonna take it by force.
And we're now down to 4 teams. Oh my god, who's gonna bring home the first chicken dinner?
This is excellent. We got XQuest with 3, Scars with 4, Space Station with 2, and ELG Elite Gaming with 4 players. So we see the odds are stacked against XQuest and Space Station. But if they can get Scars to fight with Elite so that they can sort of come in and look for those third parties, it could very well make up for the deficit in numbers.
Look, you don't want to be the first one to take the fight here. You want to be the one who's third party. You want the other teams to fight. You want to get the information, because then you know, all right, I can move into position to take you out after your fight is done.
Absolutely. No, and that's where you see everybody go to ground. They're going to work inside of the grass. Vision is tough. Backpacks start to come off. No one wants to be spotted. There's the old drop the bag. How much ammo do you need to win this, and how many meds do you need to hold on to as we see these players start to advance towards each other? When you see the knock, the spot, that's when a team has the ability to potentially stand up or send one as the executioning squad and wait for the possible third.
That's also the thing. Do you want to go for a flush straight away after you knocked it, because you don't have too much ammo, so you just drop your backpack already?
Absolutely. Elite Gaming inside of the next circle, going to be very comfortable there on their edge. The rest of the team very, very close. XQuest gets the double burn down. Jump over to Juicy. He's not happy with it. He goes after Jimmy. Jimmy pays for his brassness. That's what we talked about. Let XQuest engage. Juicy wants to come up and try to get the 4. Finish the team if he can. He's got 2 smokes. He's up. Is he going to be able to do it? Knockdown, beautiful play by Juicy there. Let's jump over to Scars. Naoto getting a nice shot through the grass. He knows where they are. He can't see them directly, but he's going to open fire. Juicy still dealing with XQuest. This is a big confidence booster for him. Meanwhile, it looks like Scars has taken care of Elite Gaming off on the side.
Juicy goes down.
To 3. Juicy does go down. That's going to be Cat, the only one left standing from XQuest. Paraboy knocked, but we'll be able to get back up on this one.
Scars Black trying to get the flush here. We're trying to fight Cat, but Shimo, he goes down.
So Scars trying to make that play. Meanwhile, we've got Juicy and Sixless taking care of each other, so we'll have 2 players from SSG back up and fighting in a moment. Cat trying to be the lone defender here. Juicy low and slows, got the silencer, opens fire, and that will be what he needed. That gives them a huge advantage. Cat out, 2 teams left, 2v1 since 1 man is knocked. Shimon gonna possibly, Shimon getting picked up here. Is it gonna be enough? It's gonna be 2 versus 2.
It's going to be a 2 versus 2. SSG, they don't want to push because they know that Naoto got the upper hand here with the cover to work with. He's just trying to hold him off. So Shimon can actually just met up.
Shimon and Naoto trying to find the spot. Both teams know exactly where the other is. Looks like we don't have any nades, or those would have been tossed at this point. So it's going to come down to, as the circle closes, a split off the side. Naoto makes it to the top of the rock. Juicy's laying down into the open. He should be visible in just a moment here. Sixless has a nade. I think he tossed one out. There's the flash. And they're going to make the push on the flash. Is it going to be enough? No, they decide not to come out. Shimon with a really nice spot off here in the grass, waiting for them to come up. He's in that flanking position. So what's going to happen is Naoto's going to come out, try to open fire, and draw the attention of SSG to allow his partner to be the flanking spoiler.
And SSG, they need to move first. They're closest towards the circle itself. Here we go.
Naoto gets the knock. It's just down to Juicy in the grass. 2v1. The hunting party is out as they look for him. Naoto takes the point, walks up to the blue line. He doesn't see him. It's 1v1. Juicy with the spray.
Oh
Does
my
he
God.
pull it off? What a play. Scars Black just there at the end. Oh my gosh, what a fight. PLM was in such a strong position, Frog, but at the end of the day, it simply was not enough. Scars Black comes out on top with one heck of a final fight.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to sleep on any teams here. We got the 16 best teams in the world. All of them are capable of doing a lot of damage to you, no matter who you are.
Absolutely. When we were up here on the desk, we saw the desk guys talking about Space Station Gaming during the opener. We saw Seven, and we saw John say, I just don't know if their consistency is going to pay off. Apparently it might. This is what they do well, but a huge shout out to Scars Black. Well, that's it from me and Froz. What an epic first game. We'll be back for number 2, but for now, let's send it back over to the desk and Kylaris.
That's right, Scars Black gets themselves the victory here. Extremely impressive stuff from them on Sanhok to be able to find themselves the first chicken dinner here of the tournament as a whole. They did extremely well in their regional, and now they're looking to provide a spectacle here on the grand stage to get things going. To my right-hand side, joining me, as always, Seven, we have John Allen as well as Avenger. Guys, our first game on Sanhok delivers.
My goodness, SSG. They actually lost the first player of the match, and I think that might have actually helped them out.
Yeah, it's quite interesting to see. You know, Sanhok is one of those maps where having less players is sometimes an advantage because you can sneak through those third-party gaps. You can move through fights and try and wend your way through. You need to be incredibly mindful when you're doing it, but it can pay off.
And also your strategy changes when you lose one player. When you go down to 3, you play a bit more cautious. You're not going to be third-partying as much. You're not going to be playing as aggressive as you usually did. And that's actually what we saw from SSG especially, where they had a spot, they spotted a team already, but they decided not to engage on it, to try to get into another angle in the circle, and it actually paid off huge. And I think that's the reason why they got second from this one.
And it was actually Angry that saw top, and you could actually see him thinking about, well, I want to shoot this, why not?
I think Juicy called him down there, actually. Let's not engage, we want to make sure to get into the circle there, because they had to cross the road. There's some open space as well, where they had to cross that before getting safely into the circle.
And they had just also knocked some players from Seoul, and Sixes was just waiting for them, so it worked out perfectly for them.
I think something we saw a lot, especially towards the end of that game, was heavy trigger discipline, as you were alluding to their Avenger.
And I think that's the classic thing from Sanhok, obviously. You don't want to expose yourself too much. You see a lot of the suppressors coming into play as well, obviously, which makes a huge difference, especially here in PUBG Mobile. And I think that paid off hugely. You were jumping already in the end. I was actually expecting a bit more, because they played it safely, but I was expecting them to either push out as 2 and take a very aggressive stance and then split out, so the other team would focus, Scars would focus on SSG, so the other guy could actually refract the 2 other guys, but they played it safe, and it nearly paid off in the end.
Naoto and Shimon putting the end to Space Station Gaming. I'm sorry, my friend, I'm sorry. I'll console you later, that's fine. But overall, Space Station Gaming actually was a team that I met previously just before the tournament began, and they said that they have quite a bit of confidence coming into the tournament, so second place for them is not too bad.
They do, and they're doing exactly what they're known for, consistency. Now, are they going to be able to go ahead and continue that consistency into the later days? Will they be able to go ahead and continue on the start spots? Because, as we mentioned, they were the team that actually lost the first player of the tournament with Carnage. Yep. So would you go ahead and see some different stuff in the later games?
Yeah, fantastic show from them. I'm hoping, they proved me a little bit wrong there. I think, I was underestimating them on the global stage, but they showed that they can turn up, they can frag. But I'm gonna roll it back and sort of double down. Sanhok is a crazy map, right? You can't be relying on that to read the rest of the game, because rotations come into effect much more than fragging power when you move to other maps.
And of course, Scars, we're able to take that first spot, so that's 30 points for them, not to mention the kills that they were able to get whilst that was all going on as well. I think they probably didn't get 48 kills.
But I'm quite sure that all the teams didn't get 40 and then one team got 48. So
that's by the by, doesn't matter.
So I think they got 39 points in the end there.
All right, okay.
So that's how that stands as a whole. So incredibly impressive by Scars, and to come out of a region where, when it comes to esports, unless it's fighting games, Japan isn't exactly the most prevalent or predominant of regions. So for a first win for them is a great statement to make here on the grand stage.
Yeah, in Japan, as Frankie alluded, they were one of the teams that were very quiet. They didn't want to go ahead and give out anything.
And it paid off.
It definitely paid off.
Yeah, I mean, I had it written down in my notes somewhere that I think Japan is really a dark horse region when it comes to this tournament. We haven't sort of seen too much of an impact, but, you know, all rejection gaming, they made it through prelims, right? Yeah. They did very well to be able to get there. They came in 5th, so it was kind of, there wasn't a lot of limelight on them, but they played well. We're now seeing the same thing happen with the big boys, right? On the big table, where Scars Black is just able to do so much more as well. And I think that moving forwards, I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on the Japanese region.
Of course, you mentioned that Carnage was the first one to go down. He's a big target. He's a big lad. He's about 7'9", right? I don't know. He's much taller than me.
8'10", I think.
That's the one. Yeah, you're right.
Crushes walnuts in his fist.
So ultimately, that's, you know, why he went down first. But beyond that, I want to talk to you about some of the final points here whilst we take a look at the highlights from game number 1. Team Unique, a CIS team coming in. Obviously, Avenger, we're used to CIS teams being aggressive balls to the wall. That's how we're going to play it. However, Team Unique took a very interesting style to their approach.
In the beginning of the game, and I was actually extremely, we talked about this, John, and I was actually extremely, I was happy to see this because they engaged on Nova, took down a few players, but then one of the players disengaged, I think it was Yasha, to make sure that the back was clear, make sure that nobody third-partied them, because they're fully aware that Sanhok obviously is the map of third parties. So even though they had 2 members down, they could easily just push them a little bit more and they were completely wiped them out. They wanted to make sure that they didn't lose a player themselves, so they disengaged from the fight, one of them, to make sure the back was safe. And that was extremely well played from Unique there.
It was an exemplary fight, I think, all round.
Yeah, definitely so. And obviously, we've got keen eyes on teams like RRQ, Athena, John, and obviously they exemplified in this first game that they're here to play fast.
Speed, aggression, dominance, that's what they're looking for here in the finals. Obviously, they did come out top on this one, but they racked up a couple of kills. I think they got themselves a decent chunk of points. We'll have to wait until those standings are sort of zeroed in until we can see exactly how everyone was falling in.
Yeah, and in regards to actually RRQ, they were trying, I believe it was VRK for Ceiling Killers, they were trying to surprise RRQ and it didn't work out for them. They got absolutely destroyed. And as soon as we take the IGL went down, you could see they just didn't know what was going on there. So great plays by RRQ Athena.
Yeah, I mean, RRQ is a team where if you open the door a crack to peek out, they're just going to fling it wide open and run on in. It's full-on swap, just straight in there. Knock, knock, it's Mr. Government to come to take your pennies.
Full breach, full breach. I really love to see that, especially how he pushed with an AK red dot just around the corner and took down 2 players there. That was fantastic.
Yeah, and then obviously when we take a look at how things played out towards the later circles, obviously we've surpassed that in the highlights here for the moment, but Purple Mood technically had a nice spot, but they got kind of crushed in on. Is this going to prompt maybe some teams later on in the tournament to change up their style, maybe focus on edge compared to going center and actually being bulldozed?
I would say in general here in Sanhok especially, you don't want to have a center spot where you don't have like hard cover, house, anything else. Because once it comes down to kind of the critical mass where you hit too high density where the fights are just going to happen because there's too much third parties, you don't want to be in the middle of that because everybody will be able to see you. You want to be in the edge there. So they should have swept out and make sure they could held one of their kind of the spots safe, so they could have the 180 degrees behind them safe, so they could focus on the forward instead of having to just lay down and just be waiting for a third party there. That's what happens in it.
It's going to be scary. I mean, one team that did have edge pretty well in my mind up towards some of the final circles was XQuest.
Yes.
They had a decent compound, the final compound in the circle. Obviously, it's a little bit hard to get out of there and then keep going. But what do you make of XQuest's campaign to start things off?
I mean, as you mentioned, once they had that compound, I thought maybe they had what it takes to actually win the whole thing. But trying to get out of there, the zone wasn't in their favor, and that just hurt them so much. And Juicy was actually able to go ahead and knock some of those players down, which was perfect because he was able to hear those shots that XQuest, I don't remember the name that the team they were shooting at. But as soon as Juicy heard that, he took advantage of it. He made sure he capitalized on those skills, and it's actually what maybe led SSG to end up in second place.
And that's the thing as well. I think that we saw even when you put XQS in tricky spots, they can just whip around and land those headshots. We saw the guy in the scout tower who was looking out. He was like, I'm going to pop up, I'm going to get a knock. He goes up and just instantly falls back down to the floor with a red health bar. It's, you know, it's phenomenal what these guys are able to achieve with their aim.
I was actually kind of surprised that XQS did not go more aggressive, considering how good of a spot they had. There's a lot of teams on the southern side. We talked about this as well. There's a lot of teams on the southern side that they could have gate kept a little bit more than they did. Yeah. I think they just wanted to make sure that they had 3 or 4 guys going into the late game of the circle, but it didn't really pay off as much having that the compound as long as they did actually.
And something that I actually noticed with XQS is once Paraboy went down, they played a lot more passive than that. So going off what I was saying at first is it comes down to what their star player ends up doing. If he gets hot, then the whole team is going to go ahead and feed off that. We're able to see that this team is going to go ahead and play out like that.
And some of these teams have as you say, a star player that they do build themselves around to be able to kind of have that motivation to move on and do well. Let's take a look, of course, at the top 4 players here from this game as a whole. It's our dream team from game number 1, and we do have, of course, a member of XQuest over here as well in Cat. Juicy's going to be making an appearance, and of course, the last 2 remaining alive members of Scars Black to be able to make an appearance as well. So a great showing from these guys throughout the game.
Yeah, indeed. And Juicy, I mean, the IGL, as I mentioned earlier, being able to get those extra kills there from XQS was a huge play. He did get knockback. He played it smart. He went back to 6-less, made sure they got picked up, and just let the other teams just kind of deal with their own thing.
That final fight was a little bit interesting to me. I think that they maybe missed a trick not going aggressive earlier when they knew that the enemy team was pinned behind the rock. They could have spread out, but instead what we saw was Scars Black actually do that in the end. They were able to snake out sideways, and that is essentially what won the game. Towards the end as well, you had Juicy. They didn't know where he was. He was able to get 1 knock, and quite frankly, he should have had the spray on second. I have to call it as I see it. I think he should have been able to win that one out for his team. They still did phenomenally well, don't get me wrong, but a little bit of a whiff there, and maybe a little bit of a whiff earlier into the fight, a lack of maybe confidence in the shot calling coming through in there. Maybe it's just a little bit of nerves on the grand stage, but, you know, they definitely, they're very, very strong, but there's headroom to grow.
Yeah, I think actually at that point he was just healing up. And then he wasn't able to, he wasn't sure because he was already in the zone, but yeah, he should have been able to get those 2 kills there at the end.
Well, thanks very much, gentlemen. I'm going to check in over with our friendly neighborhood Scoom to check in with this cable. You know what? this is a hazard, all right? We are going to check in with game number 1, Sanhok. Scoom, what have you got for me?
I got a team fight between RRQ and BRK. At the very beginning, we saw this early game happen. And I just want to emphasize how good RRQ is at taking fights. As soon as they took the entry knock, and initially, actually, I want to go back. Initially, one of the BRK did get knocked, and it was Heat. RRQ had no idea that this was happening. Like, they didn't know that they got knocked. If not, they would have capitalized on it. But the first knock that they get initially, I believe, it was on Fusey, right here, is when they start pushing. They're right now on the southern edge, so they know they can fully push out. When you're like in the middle of the circle and you get knocked, it's kind of hard to do team fights. You might get third party around you because it's like PLL at the end happens. They go third party. So in this situation, they're south edge. They get that first knock. They throw their utility, which is really good. You want to throw the utility in case they're rezzing, so avoid the rezzes, and then they start positioning themselves in a really, really good manner. In a few seconds, you will see how good their tactical approach in team fights actually is. As you see right now here, they have 2 guys, one at the front, one backing him up in case he's pushing just for the refrag, and you have 2 guys on the side, one on the left angle and one on the right, and this is just perfect to get those beautiful angles and see, in case they see any of them moving away, they have those angles, and they just immediately pushed in and just annihilated the Brazilian Crusaders in this team fight. And it shows how good they are and how confident they are in their maneuverability and just to take team fights like that. Another clip that I want to go over is probably the most important circle shrink that we saw in that game. It was a mid-to-late game, and it was a huge shrink to the west. And we see here Scars Black with Team 1. You know exactly where they are right now. This is teams that really unfavorable position. But in Sanhok, there's so many third parties going on that being in this position actually isn't that bad, because you can go around, which they ended up doing, going all the way around east on the eastern side and actually taking fights along the way and end up winning that. As you see also Space Station Gaming, they're outside the circle and the edge kind of thing, so they came second place. So these positions, maybe in Erangel and Miramar, is not going to be so favorable, but in a game like Sanhok, it can be favorable. You want to be an aggressor and be in third party. And another thing to touch on as well at the end was
you've got so much
the last circle shrank that happened. You see PLM bang in the middle, but actually not the biggest fan of that. As you saw later on, all these teams that are crashing in from the sides, they don't want to be in a position where it's bang in the middle, because everyone is going to be coming in from all the angles, from that side, from this side, right? So what ended up happening is they got third partied at the end, whilst Scars Black had one of the edges, and Space Station Gaming also on the side, on the bottom left, had the path to go in was easier for them. They could third party, eliminate the teams around them, and had a greatest chance of success.
All right, well, thank you very much, Scoom. My almost MVP of that moment was almost that Molotov at the very beginning that almost caught them. That would have been nice to see, you know, a little burnout. I'm always happy with that. But thank you very much for your great insights, as we can now head over to an interview with our winners in Scars Black.
Thank you very much, Colaris. Yes, I am in the pit that's occupied by Japanese team Scars Black, and I'm with Shimon, who is one of the final fighters left alive. Shimon, talk me through that final fight in that 7th circle.
初めての試合で強気なムーブできて勝ててよかったです。嬉しいです。
It was the first victory, so we are very happy that we were the first team that won the tournament.
It was a difficult final circle though, because you were being closed in by the blue. It forced you to take on Space Station Gaming head on. How did you and Naruto take down Juicy from Space Station Gaming?
最後のシーンのことなんですけど、最後に2人だけがいて、相手は1人でしたよね。で、これはすごく難しかったかなと思ってますから、これについて少し説明してくれれば嬉しいです。
ラスト2人になった状態で、敵がどこにいるかわからない状態で始まって、自分の先撃たれてから後にどこかわからない状態で反応して倒せたので、とても嬉しいです。
So yeah, the situation was extremely hard for us because we were only 2 and we didn't know where the rival exactly is. So the key for our victory was to communicate with each other and to rely on each other.
Now, finally, Shimon, Scars Black drops in docks on Sanhok. You currently have the area to yourselves. Have you got a message for anyone who is tempted to hot drop you next time you play on Sanhok?
他のチームに対して何か伝えたい言葉がありますか？
どこのチームもエイム力があってとても強いので、僕らも全力で戦っていきます。お願いします。
So we think that you all are really strong and you are very good rivals. So we are proud that we can participate in such tournament with you all guys. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Shimon. Congratulations on winning the first chicken dinner of the tournament with your team, Scars Black. Now, after the break, yeehaw, we're going to Miramar. So you guys stick around because we're going to get hot in the desert after this short break.
Big time summer, let's play some TDM.
Team match, let's go.
team. The red team is unstoppable! Reloading! Expired! The red team's streak has just been terminated.
Great. You're about to win.
The red team doesn't have a lot of time left.
Blue team victory.
गेम शुरू हो गया